All right, here we go. And Lonk, the boots are in Swamp Palace.
Green, green, green.
So, not Meyer, but oh well. Now, this is still standard 7-7 defeat Ganon otherwise, so besides those hints, it'll be pretty much run-of-the-mill start here.
Yeah, that is 100% true. And since we have a assured sword, we don't have it just yet, but once we get the item off of our uncle, we will have access to that sword.
Actually, the sword is granted right off the bat in Ambrosia.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they just got, as evidenced by the blue mail from the uncle.
I thought you couldn't sling your sword and once you gone out
Oh,
of the
that's
house.
true.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. And right away, we found the hook shot.
Well, on the subject of early Swamp Palace. I forgot that you can't swing your sword until you talk to the uncle.
Yeah, that's what I was going to get at. That's what I was talking about to me anyway. So, Sailor Nep, first one into the escape.
Our runner's taking full advantage of that hook shot to get just that little bit of extra distance via the pots.
Yeah, finding the hook shot this early on in the game gives you a lot of really quick bursts of mobility, but it's a mobility nonetheless.
Yeah, every little bit helps, although not much overall in the first chest of escape so far, just 10 sticks.
Boy and Sailor Nep in perfect sync as they take out the second guard and that you encounter. You have to required to do. And here's the third one. And the boomerang chest only has 20 rupees.
Yeah, there are two things we should expect to see in the front of escape. Within the next two chests, we need to see a key. At some point or another, we may see a dungeon map unless it's in the sanctuary and our runners are counting items.
Yeah, that's the most important thing. If you don't find a map within the escape alone, it will definitely be in the sanctuary, and you have to make sure you count your items right. And because if you do check that chest when we know it's a map, you'll lose some time, but it's still too early in the game to make a huge difference.
True. Prism Lizard did give us a look at our stun prize, and it is a blue rupee.
Some quick bursts of money isn't too bad. It's no 20 rupees, but it's still some rupees nonetheless.
Indeed. Now, what our runners will also be looking for sometime within the next 2 or 3 minutes is a bomb drop. The reason for that is that they will need that to get to the back of escape. 3 items housed back there.
Indeed, there are 3 items in the back of escape.
Now, I haven't been observing the drops from the guards, so I don't know if the guards have bombs in their prize pool at this time.
And to answer a question in chat, Ambrosia is a sword seed where the boots gives you, the uncle gives you the boots hint right away, and every single boss in the game has a unique has just an item. It's a guaranteed item. It's not, it can be a unique item, but it's not guaranteed to be a unique item.
I saw a blue rupee drop from that rope. I'm not sure if that means bombs are in the prize pool.
I'm not really an expert when it comes to the prize packs due to the way the version 31 shovels the prize packs amongst the enemies themselves.
Fair enough. But looks like Dark Cross is a heart container. And, oh, it looks like the robes do give bombs, as Koi did pick one up.
If there is items already, if there are some important progression that we need in the back of escape, Koi already has the advantage.
Yeah, unfortunately, Sailor Nep was not fortunate enough to get a bomb drop off of the ropes in time and has elected to skip the back of escape.
And through possible elimination, Koi will have the information that the Sanctuary will have the map chest. Unfortunately for everyone else, they don't have information, so Koi will save some time if he's counting his items correctly, that he will be skipping that chest out.
Yeah, and everybody will see otherwise by picking up the Sank chest that all items in the back of escape are items, so a little bit of a vice versa there. We do get our first Light World map check. I believe that is 2 crystals in the Light World with a blue pendant and Tower of Hera, blue crystals everywhere else.
That appeared to be the case.
Yeah, Koi confirming that for us. We get a look at the thieves' hideout, just 50 rupees.
Some nice early rupees to pick up, especially for Sailor Nep. She'll be able to go and grab the bombs off of the shop.
Alternatively, they could just take it from the bush crabs. Luckily, they are dropping bombs for us today.
That is a really nice pickup for a nice little drop from the bush crab, and also the nice little vulture giving us another bomb.
Now, Prism Lizard also did give us a lumberjack check, and it is the red mail. So we already know both of our mail upgrades at the 7-minute mark. Too bad we're not getting that other one.
Yeah, well, red mail is nice to have when you find it really early on. Seeing that we already have a blue mail, it's nice to have if you're, but these runners are pretty experienced, so they're not going to go and grab that.
No, they will not. I'll tell you the one thing they will grab, and that is the hammer out of the bottom of Blind's hut there.
So that's 2 pieces of... That's already 1 piece of our Dark World puzzle that we need to solve.
Also our currently hardest hitting weapon.
Yeah, that is correct. As the as the hammer does tempered sword damage, or pretty much the tier 3 damage, but it has a really small hitbox to counteract this.
Indeed. Alright, Sailor Nap also the first one into the bottom of the well. Starting off with, looks like 2 heart pieces, another 50 bucks, 3 heart pieces, and 300 bucks. So, Zora money.
Yeah, that's a nice hefty jackpot for Sailor Nap.
Spends that money to get a nice heart container. Early heart containers, especially with blue mail, it just adds to its early value.
Giving what the item was on top of Lumberjack Ledge and confirming that it is red mail.
Now, Nep is in an interesting position, as Chad points out. Since Back of Escape was trash, if Nep elects to gamble that there is nothing there for the rest of the seed, that'll ultimately end up saving Nep just a little bit of time.
Yeah, that is a good insight from our lovely chat.
All right. Now, if we have to go to Swamp Palace for the boots, what are they hiding in the library? Just more sticks. I've noticed a lot of 10 stick drops so far. I'm a little bit concerned. Does Hyrule have a carpenter problem?
I don't know. I don't know why Hyrule would have a carpenter problem. They're like living in the middle medieval times, so I don't know what's up with that. This is
All
a
right.
fantasy world we're talking about.
Fair enough. All right, Sailor Nep, the first one to give us our South Shore checks. She will start by checking off the dam.
And there's a lamp that actually does add a little. Actually, adds another piece to our Aghanim puzzle.
Unfortunately, it does, but it also does put the Vanilla Big Key Chest of Eastern Palace into logic. It's one of the two pieces we need to access Death Mountain, the other being the Power Glove or the Flute. Either works.
And 50 rupees from the sunken treasure, as Koi is going to do Uldrum Cave, while Sailor Nep is heading over to the desert.
And this is some interesting divergence. Both, there's definitely a lot of merit to going both directions. On one end, you get to see Desert Ledge and get the Aeginas Cave check out of the way, which is a very easily orphanable check when it's the only one you can do back there.
That is true. It is one of the more out of the way checks, but it's nice to get it out of the way if you're doing it way early on in the game, like what Sailor Nep is doing right now.
Yeah, unfortunately, as Koya has shown us, Mini Moldorm Cave was complete trash. I think I saw 3 out of 5 chests being rupee drops, and one of them being a heart piece.
At least Koi does have Zora money. That's the big thing. Or, well, it's a big thing in the context of this early game.
True. Although we don't have logical access to King Zora yet. Oh, that's not funny. That was Magic Cape in Ice Rod Cave, so 12.5 minutes in, and we can already do Aga 1.
Yeah, and the fact of the matter is, once we find a Moon Pearl, we do have access to Aga Dark World, and we do have the hook shot so that we can get over to the Village of Outcast if we want to, and all the good times.
Yeah, it's a little bit early to start thinking about Aga Tower. There's still quite a number of checks we can still make. For one thing, if we find Death Mountain access with the hookshot, we can go to East Death Mountain. For one thing, we have the entirety of the Eastern Palace area minus the boss, pretty much, and that's it. So we should not assure this in Agassi just yet, but still, the concept of 12.5-minute Aga access is horrifying.
That is true, and we're actually running out of checks right away. If Sailor Nep wanted to, she could do a fake flipper that would make the Zora play out of logic and would really not be able to go and check out the waterfall fairy because we would need the Moon Pearl to make that water walk happen.
Yeah, certainly there's a lot of moves out there that if you're desperate, you'll do it if you want to skip Aga 1. But again, still a little early to make that call. Let's take a look at Eastern Palace first, I say, see what we have after that.
Eastern is the right call to make at this point in time.
Which it looks like that's exactly where Nep is going.
You have access to Sahasrara. You will be able to get information about the green pendant from him. And you also have well, more importantly, you have access to Eastern Palace. We can't clear it yet, but we can at least get through everything in the front.
Indeed, and we know for a fact that it will only be 2 items, as the third one is on Armos Knights. There is our Moon Pearl in the back of Sahasrah's closet.
So right away, we already have what we need to do Aga Darkworld. The problem though is that all the runners have Fighter Sword.
Yeah, they're not really. They're in a bit of a healthier state than you would expect for this early in the seed. They're already on 8 Hearts Blue Mail, but at the same time, Fighter Sword is still very low power. I mean, you have Hammer too, but even still.
Yeah, and the thing is that with Fighter Sword Aga Tower is very slow, but it is doable. It is also in logic.
Oh, and maybe that's what Koi and Prism Lizard are thinking. Unless they're just running to go do... Nope, they're not running to do Back of Escape. Oh, no, only Sailor Nep skip Back of Escape. Never mind.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's the case. So Koi, since Koi already escape, doing the Aga play right now could be big if Eastern Palace has nothing.
Yeah, the first chest of Eastern so far was the Compass. So we have not seen the majority of Eastern yet. And there's the map, so the next 3 chests are going to be guaranteed any order of big key item.
So what Koi in Prison is just play it out as a Hammer Aga. This one to make this a lot better than it is with just a Fire Sword by itself. So it will make the Aga Tower not annoying to deal with, and also not as slow, which is a good decision on both Prism and Koi's part.
Yeah, considering that there are only 2 items in Eastern Palace that are accessible right now, this makes a lot more sense to go do this check and get your Dark World access this way, just because there's so much more you can check after getting into the Dark World. You can go use Hammer to check Hide Cave, you can use Hookshot to get to Village of Outcasts, as you mentioned earlier. There is a lot you can do.
And we did find another item within Eastern Palace. That is only 3 bombs, so it's only just down to 1 item for Sailor Nep before she goes over to do Aga 1. And if it turns out that what we need is on like Armos or something, or wait, Armos has the item.
Armos will have our 3rd item. This big vanilla big key chest will be the 2nd item.
So yeah, this is the right call.
So yeah, it is.
Go ahead.
It is we can definitely confirm this is 100% an Aga seed.
So, and Prison Lizard making the correct call to go over to Aga Tower, and yeah, I really like that play for Koi. So if you want to get your guesses in for how many blue balls we're gonna get, go ahead. I'm gonna say 3 because it's always 3.
I'm going to be a little up. Since we found out so early that it was going to be Aga 1, I'm going to up the ante a little. I'm going to say 5. However, it would appear that Sailor Nep is electing to put off Aga and take the gamble on a fake flipper.
Now, this is out of logic, and we know that this won't have anything. But the thing is that since Sailor Nep has the Moon Pearl, I mean, everyone else has the Moon Pearl, except maybe Ken. But Ken's gonna go grab that Moon Pearl anyway. So Nep will be able to go and look at the Waterfall Fairy, and we also find out that Ether is on top of Lake Hylia Island.
That could come into play if we need that for Maya or Turtle Rock.
Yeah, and that would mean we would need the mirror to beat the game.
Well,
and
Ken just revealed that Turtle Rock is the green pendant, and there is a glove on the bridge guy.
Now, logically, that's locked behind the flippers, but Sailor Nep has Dark World access now.
Yeah, that's a pretty big one because Nep will be able to pretty much go anywhere where the flippers could end up being. Like, they could be in Pod, they could be in Thieves Town, and Nep will be able to do all of that while skipping this Aga Tower climb.
Yeah, which is actually really nice for Sailor. It means that Sailor Nep would actually sequence break the Aga fight entirely, and that's really good in terms of Sailor Nep. So Koi finishing off as logically is required.
And there's our last pendant. It is in Thieves Town with our 5-6 crystals being Swamp Palace and Ice Palace. So Ken revealed to us the Total Rock green pendant just before this, and it's just bombs on the pyramid.
Sailor Nap gonna go and check out the Zora area, and we're gonna probably see just your typical scams because, of course, Zora will always scam people.
Yeah, we know Zora can't have probably can't have flippers considering a glove was locked behind them. I don't know if I would consider a second sword a scam though.
Well, that's true. Yeah, it's a nice pickup.
Especially if you're making the rounds anyway and you don't have to come back since it was a heart piece on Zora Ledge. You know, that I would say that's well worth the trip, especially since you discovered that fake flippering allowed you to skip Aga Tower.
Yeah, that's true. And Koi in Cave 73, as I personally like to call it, starting with things off with 3 bombs, a heart piece, 10 arrows, 50 rupees, and okay, Samaria, that rectifies that entire thing.
Yeah, that's not too bad. We are going to definitely need that for Misery Mire. We might need it if there is progression in Total Rock. Green Pendant Total Rock, I might add.
It's Green Pendant Turtle Rock. Why wouldn't it be Green Pendant Turtle Rock?
Yeah, and now we're only a flippers away from that glove, which once we find those flippers, that also will be our logical Death Mountain access that with glove and lamp, and with the hookshot East Death Mountain as well. Looks like Koi's picking up a shield from Stumpy, and Ken is revealing that the hints are turned off.
Yep, version 31, you are allowed to turn off the hints, and and all the races that we do here on Speed Gaming, including the tournament, has hints turned off.
Yeah, the only exception usually is the mystery seeds we have on Mondays, where that setting is randomized. All right, we've got Koi and Prism Lizard both checking things out in the west end of Dark World. Prism doing the Village of Outcasts checks, while Koi just dug up a big 20 after 17 digs.
And sending Sailor Nep picks up her Kenny Omega's cane.
Where would you say our next progression is? Do you think it's here in the west end of... Never mind.
Okay, that is nice.
That's Bow in Bow in back of the brewery is pretty big because that gives us Pod and Eastern, both of which are crystals.
Now, if we find the mirror within like something like Thieves Town or something of that sort, that would actually be really big for Prism Lizard. They will be able to do Pod Eastern right away and know how to work. They can just mirror right in front of Pod entrance, and all sorts of happy days as Prism Lizard magic.
Yeah, I like this play into Thieves Town, especially so early. It's 4 items. Not to mention you already have half magic now, and you know you're going to need magic since Skull Woods and since a lot of dungeons that use a lot of magic heavy items or crystals, for that matter, you're going to want that half magic early. Koi and Sailor Nep, in the meantime, looks like both... well, Koi just gave us Bumper Ledge, but Sailor Nep is making the play to Catfish. It also appears that Ken will be performing the fake flipper and is about to get his very convenient Aga skip from the bridge guy.
Yeah, but this actually
Or
helps.
not.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
I don't know.
Go
Sorry, you first.
ahead. So, I'm kind of curious about what Ken, because since Ken could skip Aga 1 all in just by going over to the hobo.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Ken is trying to think, maybe try to save that water walk to get to him, which I don't think you can do. I'm not 100% sure how the water walk physics work after you pick up Sora's item.
At least for Ken, a Master Sword.
Yeah, Master Sword is good, as we said earlier, but unfortunately, it's that glove that's going to let him skip Aga 1 here. And it looks like Nep is going to... Oh, there's Bamos in the Thieves' Town attic. Nep is going to go ahead and continue on with this major sequence break we've got going on here and go to Death Mountain. Only some sticks on the old man, though. And correct me if I'm wrong, but Koi just picked up a French vanilla fire rod.
Yeah, that is the fire rod.
So yeah, we gotta hope our runners don't go hunting too long for that. French vanilla, I mean, vanilla's obviously the big whammy, but French vanilla is not that much better. But Koi's now gonna go right ahead in full clear Skull Woods. In fact, Koi's gonna rush straight to Mothula since he knows that's where the other item is.
Yeah, the fact that the good thing about Ambrosia, like we mentioned, is that since every boss will have the other item, the fact that you find the fire rod already, you can just go directly over to the boss and get the second item right away. That in turn, it makes the counting of the items a lot more easier because you worry about one less item, but just find the if you're doing say pod, then you can just find 4 items and you already know that Helmstar already has an item and so on.
Indeed. Now, Sailor Nep did give us some useful intel there and found the book in Paradox Cave, which means that conveniently with her hammer in tow, she will be able to check the ether tablet just before possibly dipping Tower of Hera. That may be kind of an asterisk since Hera is a pendant today.
Hey, who knows? Mulder might have some progression.
Possibly. Could have another bow. Could have... what else could it have at this point? It can't have boots. We know those are in Swamp. It could have mirror. Well now, Sailor Nep finding the ice rod in Spiral Cave, so we know where both of our rods are.
And Prism Lizard gets the red pendant from Blind, while Koi had already dropped down into the Mothula fight. And to answer a question in chat, the reason why we know about the boots that are in Swamp Palace is because of how the Ambrosia seed works. It's a sword assured. It's a sword assured standard seed where the boots, where the uncle tells you about the boots, and every has a item that's guaranteed, as shown by Koi with the shovel as he draws first blood.
Oh my. Sailor Net pulling the mirror out of the ether tablet, so you know what that means? We can full clear swamp. No, we can't. No flippers. Never mind.
Yeah, that's the thing. We need the flippers. And considering that we have a book, as much as I hate to mention this, it is possible that Sailor Nap, once she goes over to get the school once and get the fire rod, we are able to check the pedestal, even though it's probably gonna be 20 rupees or something.
True. Although, we need a lot for Turtle Rock. We have Cane in both rods, but we might need another medallion. We know where one of them is, but that is Flipper's locked. I'm trying to think what could be on the pedestal at this point anyway. I want to say it can't be Titan's Mitts because we need that for Turtle Rock. It can't be Mirror because we just found it. It could be Flute.
Yeah, Flute is possible. Also, I just noticed that Sailor did a rather unique setup using bombs to line herself up.
Alright, we do have Ken just wrapping up his Aga Tower climb after unfortunately skipping the glove from the hobo during the fake flipper, so Ken will unfortunately lose a few minutes here due to this, while necessary by logic, skippable fight.
Yeah, you could skip the fight through a sequence break, as Sailor Nep did. So Tara Hera only having a heart piece, nothing really that I can see.
Yeah, I did not check if Sailor Nep picked up another item out of the chest in front of the big chest. So I don't know if Sailor Nep has both items. Chat is telling me it was a compass, which means that the big chest has the other item, because we know the big key's in the basement. Oh wait, is the big key in the basement? I missed the chest. The chest on the first floor I missed too.
And Sailor Nep opting to go over to Spike Cave.
Makes sense. You have a full bar of magic, you have enough health, you have the cape. Might as well get it out of the way now. To answer the question in chat, the red cane was in Hype Cave.
Which, it's a good enough Hype Cave to at least have Hype Cave for this seed. They need the name Hype Cave for this seed.
Alright, Prism Lizard has elected to dip Pod, which makes perfect sense given for them that it is a full clearable dungeon. They do have the bow, which was in the Village of Outcasts, back of the brewery. I'm curious to know if that Bamos medallion from the Thieves' Town attic is going to end up being needed for Meyer or possibly Turtle Rock. We shall see. Because we don't need it for Ice, as we've already found Fire Rod.
And Sailor is opting to go into Village of Outcasts. Could potentially go over and do Skullwood, and Sailor will be able to find the Fire Rod.
Sailor Nep will not only be able to find the Fire Rod, but after full clearing the dungeon with Mirror in tow and Book, will be the most likely chance we get for a ped check.
Yeah, even though it's probably going to be 20 rupees or something.
Yeah, I think the only two things I think that could be on pedestal, there's the flippers, by the way, in Pod, in the Bowlock section, no less. So that puts the whole logic chain together. You are expected to do Aga 1, go to Village of Outcasts, get your bow, and then come back to Pod to get your flippers. Oh boy.
I was pretty much expecting the flippers to end up in something like pod anyway, considering how logically you need to get the gloves from the hobo.
Yeah, from my observations, whenever you have an Agaseed, 9 times out of 10 there's progression in pod. But anyway, going back on to what I was saying earlier, the only 2 things that could be on pedestal at this point are Flute and Myers Medallion. That's about it. If it's not Bombos or Ether. Because, yeah, come to think of it, we've got some pretty decent equipment already. We're just looking for mitts, flute. We know boots are in swamp in case we need them for desert, which we can go get. So we know those are, we know we can go grab those. So, yeah, we're not missing too much now.
All right, so Sailor is gonna go and grab the fire rod. That will let her clear out Modula. Also get that pet check out of the way. It's pretty low chance for a pet seed, honestly, but it would be nice to have another pet seed. Even though I'm not really too good about pet seeds. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind a pet seed.
Yeah, I mean,
I haven't
it would
found
be
one in a
interesting.
while.
It would be interesting. It's been a while since we had a pet seed, even though it's been like pretty crazy in terms of the tournaments. But I digress.
Yeah, I know the qualifiers had a lot of pet seeds lately.
So there's the fire rod for Sailor Nap.
Koi about to get that bow. All right, Prism Lizard getting the checks in the Dark Maze out of their way. And what does Bumper Ledge have? I think Koi checked this earlier. It was a big 20.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go and grab that. Alright, so Sailor Nap in the back of Skull Woods. Since we know that, since Sailor Nap already knows that she'll be able to get this second item off of Mafula, no need to check any other chests.
All right, Prism Lizard taking a Death Warp to get back to the front of Pod. Has to be a little conservative, or I should say doesn't have any magic at this point, so not going to have much ammunition against Mothula here. Now, if it were me, and I had read the pedestal after this and figured it was a ped seed, like if it turns out Flute is on ped, I honestly think the first thing I would do is go straight to Swamp Palace to get Pegasus boots.
Yeah, that does make things a lot more easier, since we already know where the boots are because due to the uncle. All right, so Sailor Nap has her first crystal. It's more than likely that we're gonna get a pet check. So again, the only thing that's really on ped could be on ped or Ether's item, and that's exactly what Sailor Nap's gonna do. So if you want to get your pedestal hype, I guess it's probably gonna be 20 rupees anyway.
And the pedestal is, well, not 20 rupees, but still worthless.
No, within the same kind of period. It's a little same little area within the same usual suspects. either 20 rupees, 10 arrows, 3 bombs, pocket change, which is 5 rupees, and
Just a
that's
little
about it.
piece of love. All right, so we know it's not a pedestal seed. Now, granted, Fluke could still be in a really trollish place, like, dare I say it, Green Pendant Turtle Rock.
Because of course it's a green pendant to the rock.
All right, Prism Lizard fighting on the Helmosaur King. No issues taking that king down. And we are given our first bottle of the seed on Helmosaur King. Bottle of red goo. Certainly not going to say no to that, considering the health we have now. Also opens up our first logical check for the sick kid.
That is true, and that is already a pendant for Prism Lizard. Going to save and quit out of there. And since we don't have the mirror, well, since Prism Lizard doesn't have the mirror, they'll be able to just have the normal light world spawn points. It's not until they get the mirror, as it's when if they try to mirror or to save and quit while in the dark world with Agate already killed, they'll be placed on top of the pyramids.
Ah, yes, very true. Now, Prism Lizard is using those flippers right away to go to the hobo, so this is going to give Prism Lizard their glove.
Which is really nice, considering that you already found the flippers, and the only one in the grid that has access to Swamp Palace.
Answer question, chat. Sea House was nothing significant. I think it was 10 sticks. The mirror was on the Ether tablet. So yeah, with the glove, now Prism Lizard has the logical access to Death Mountain, so that'll allow Prism Lizard to get their book, go to Ether tablet to get their mirror, and collect the items up on East Death Mountain to go with it. And chat enlightening me that Sea House was 3 bombs. Thank you, chat.
See, we already pulled the pad because we already have 3 bombs.
Exactly. So now that we've seen, from all that we've seen, I would, given that we've cleared Skull Woods and Thieves Town and Pod, I would say Swamp is definitely your next stop at this point. You know that's where your boots are. You know you could full clear it. In Sailor Nep and Prism Lizard's case for them. Well, actually, Prism Lizard doesn't have the mirror yet, so Prism Lizard's still looking for that, but we know where it is. But I would think Swamp is the next play at this point.
Yeah, Swamp is definitely your next play, because you not only will you have the boots, that is one of our items. You have a total items that can be available to you before you fight Argus. And Prism Lizard is going to get their Master Sword. Or as sometimes I like to call in the chat, the Diamond Sword, but this is so yeah, so Prism is going to go and grab the item off of the Zor ledge, and it's just a red boomerang.
And we would like to welcome the folks who just came over from the Made Speed Gaming channel that are joining us here tonight for our Link to the Past Randomizer daily race. For those just coming in, we have an Ambrosia seed, meaning that we started off with a sword, and our uncle told us where the Pegasus boots are at the start of the game. They are in Swamp Palace. We had a logically required Agaseed, however, it was skippable courtesy of a fake flipper to the hobo, which granted us a Power Glove.
And I'm Professor Renderer, and the one you're just talking to right now is Captain MD13. And tonight's writers are Link to the Past Ken, Koi, Prism Lizard, and Sailor Nap.
Yes, there is still a lot of random to be had tonight, folks. We're still looking for quite a few things, and given that we already had the AGA 1 seed, that should be a testament to what this seed could become later down the road, folks. So strap yourselves in, it's going to be a good one.
So Prism Lizard is opting to go up the mountain the logical way.
We'd also like to take a minute to give a shout out to our trackers, Cataclysm and Duder K, who have been doing a great job working with what they have tonight to try and keep all the buttons lit up for you folks. All right, Sailor Nap finally getting her bow, which will most likely bring Sailor Nap over to Pod and Eastern, and with Mirror, we'll be able to do a double whammy double clear here.
All right, Koi is on the Helmastar King fight.
It seems that so far the seed has been kind of linear in terms of where it wants you to go, all things considering. Because after Dark World access, you know, you clear Village of Outcasts, Thieves Town, you go to Skull Woods, get your French Vanilla Fire Rod, and clear that out. And then with the bow and your hammer from earlier in tow, you go to Pod, you get your flippers, so you can get your glove, to go up to the mountain, to get your book, which you need to get your mirror, and now next stop Swamp Palace. Or desert. But I say swamp since it has the boots. There's another bottle locked behind the mirror in cave, I believe that is cave 45. Alright, and it looks like that is Pod Eastern is exactly where Sailor Nep is heading to next. Prism Lizard, meanwhile, going to be very happy getting their mirror.
Yeah, this will be very nice for Prism Lizard. Being able to get that mirror and have access to Swamp Palace. And to consider this, since Prism Lizard and Koi are the only ones that have the flippers at the moment, Prism Lizard is the only one that can do Swamp Palace right now.
True, although Nep's not too far behind given that she is about to pick up her flippers from Pod. Ken had a little bit of trouble getting Kiki the Extortionist over to the front door. It took a second try back there, but eventually did bring the monkey over. And there is Koi's glove from the hobo. And Koi is also going to chat hard reset on the mushroom, which does make a lot of sense because that allows Koi, with his current equipment, to be able to do the fake powder glitch.
And the Fate allows you to check the magic bat when you don't have the powder in hand, because the mushroom and the powder occupy the same slot, and for some reason, when using the Cane of Samaria and then using a mushroom, the game tricks it into thinking that you have the powder when you actually don't.
I've seen fake powder be used to have a close call with an anti-fairy turn into a heal as well. It can have quite the utility when put to the right use.
So Prison Lizard gets their ice rod from out of Spiral Cave. A pretty slow Spiral Cave in that fact.
Oh, I just thought of something really horrifying. What if the flute is on Trinex?
Lunon Trinix is possible.
Possible and incredibly disgusting.
Now, Captain, don't be like chat.
Or even worse, it is the green pendant, Fludon's a Hosphala.
No, don't.
I'll laugh hysterically if and only if that is the case. I'll giggle if it is in Turtle Rock, though.
Yeah, that would be funny to. Admittedly, that would be kind of funny. Pretty mean, but still funny. All right, Prison Lizard is going to do Swamp Palace. This is the first time we are actually seeing Swamp Palace in motion.
Yes, we know the Pegasus boots are somewhere in this dungeon. We don't know exactly where, but Prison Lizard, without a doubt, is going to pick those up. If you want to guess where the Pegasus boots are hiding, feel free. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say big chest.
Right. Prison Lizard going to check the first actual chest outside of the important key chest that you need to get into Swamp House at all. It's just a map.
All right, Koi is electing here to go ahead and finish clearing up full clear Eastern Palace, which he can do courtesy of the bow. This makes sense. It's a crystal. You can full clear it. So you might as well get this one out of your way just so you never have to come back to this area again. Not to mention, we still don't know what that third item on the Armos Knights is.
And Koi is able to check that right now.
And there are our Pegasus boots, not in the big chest, but just south of the big chest.
Close enough. Just close enough.
Yeah. And Prism Lizard, with those boots in tow, elects to go straight to Argus.
Yeah, this makes sense. You're able to get the item off of Argus. If you have to, you can go all the way up to the left side swamp after this.
Wow, Koi using a bit of an unconventional tactic there, but still getting the quick kill on the Armos Knights. Unfortunately, it's just for a minor arrow refill.
But more importantly, Koi does have 3 crystals to his name.
True.
And Sailor Nep is going to get her second crystal.
Now, a compass was picked up. The compass and map were both picked up, actually, so we know for a fact that there is an item in Left Side Swamp. Possibly two, depending on if the big key is locked in the big chest, which I think it might, it could still be. We haven't seen the big key yet.
Yeah, but no. Prism Lizard is now on the Argus fights. That's all these mini Argai down. All Prism gotta do is to get rid of the big Argus themselves. And there goes Argus. Big old jackpot.
Yeah, at this point, the only good that's going to do is for potions, which, to be fair, we now know of 2 bottles, so that is going to be good money for safety items. And it appears that Prism Lizard will go back to Left Side Swamp. I think this is a decent play. You're still missing a significant number of items. You can't even do much else besides Desert Palace. That's about it.
Yeah, and if it happens to be the Titans mids, then Prism Lizard actually has a lot more to do. Ice Palace is possible with the Bombos Medallion. I mean, yeah, with the Bombos Medallion by itself. Yes, Prism Lizard does not have the Fire Rod yet. They haven't gone to Skull Woods yet, but they can do it.
Yeah, although at this point, the ultimate double whammy would be Flute and Titan's Mitts in Left Side Swamp, because if that's the case, that is, Quake Medallion issues pending, that's possible go mode, or at least no mode.
Yeah, Schrodinger's no mode.
Yeah, pretty much really the only thing that can, like, super troll us at this point is the Quake Medallion. Although Flute's not much better. And even then, we don't know if that's required.
Alright, Sailor Nep is on her way over to the Armless Knights and do a different setup to do the quick kill. The left side, going over to the top right. And excellent quick kill for Sailor Nep. Alright, Prism Lizard on their way over to Left Side Swamp.
Well, forget anything I said about that double whammy.
And of course.
That's not even a whammy. That's big bucks. $5,000 in a spin. Oh, wait, no, wrong game. Game shows aside, it would seem that Prism Lizard's next port of call is the Bombos tablet, and this would be a good time to route that in with Desert Palace. Well now! That's something Prism Lizard's really happy to find. That book paying off in spades in more ways than one. So Bombo's having Titan's mitts. So
That-
with
Go ahead.
you first.
So that is actually really big for Prism Lizard. The fact that managed to get the Tides from there. Now that means they could do Ice Palace. They could also go over to Meyer. They could do that, but we'll just see if we can have access to it. Oh no, right, we did the flippers, right? The flute. I forgot.
Yeah, the only downside is I think Prism Lizard would have liked to see Flute before Mitts, just because Mitt locks more than Flute does. Therefore limits the number of locations it could be at, because now with Mitts, we can do literally everything except Misery Mire.
Yeah, that is really true. All right, so Prism Lizard's opting to do Desert Palace. Once they find the first item there, they know that they can just go directly over to Latmoas, get their crystal, and get the second item.
Indeed, but it would appear that Desert Palace is boots locked. And I just want to bring something up from a couple minutes ago. Koi is up on Death Mountain, but has not picked up the Master Sword yet from Zora. So Koi just saw the mirror on the Ether tablet, but could not pick it up.
Yeah, this really hurts for Koi.
Now there's your powder as well in the east wing of Desert Palace. I imagine with Mitts and Mirror in hand, Prism Lizard's next port of call after this would most likely be Smith Chain. You can route in Smith Chain, you can do Purple Chest, you can do Hammer Pegs, and you can do Magic Bat, all within very short order.
Yeah, and if Prism decides to route in Skull Woods as well, they'll have the Fire Rod, which in turn be important.
That is true. They do need that. All right, Ken now making the voyage into Eastern Palace. Now, Ken has not been up to the mountain yet, so is still missing out on the book and mirror. And as Chad points out, we have yet to see the sick kid check. So there is that's another check that can very conveniently be routed in with the Smith Chain.
And Prism Lizard enters the Lambolus fight.
Sailornep electing to use a combination of Fire Rod and Master Sword spins here for Argus. Takes him down in one fell swoop.
That's the Lambolus down for Prism Lizard and only getting a shield. That's crystal number 3 for Prism Lizard.
At this point, I would say it is pretty much a hunt for that flute. And again, that flute could be literally anywhere except in the Mire area.
Now, once we find the flute, whoever is going over to Meyer, they have to hope that it's not Quake. Because because we already know where Ether is. It's on top of Hylia Island. But if it's Bum,
Can you say that again? You cut out after you said, but if it's Bombos.
but if it's Bombos, it will be pretty good.
It will, you're absolutely right. And it looks like Prism Lizard's first stop is back to the Dark World. That way, Prism Lizard has a convenient mirror portal for use after checking things like Sick Kid and Magic Bat.
This is going to be the Smith chain for Prism Lizard, but first of all, we're going to make a brief pit stop over to the Sick Kid. And nothing but 20 rupees.
So the answer was not on the bottles. It's really unfortunate that Koi has not yet been bailed out by a second sword, because now with, I'm pretty sure Koi actually did not get mirror, so Koi couldn't check Bamo's tablet to discover that it's holding his Titan's mitts. So yeah, this is really unfortunate for Koi. Now there's one of our 2 single rupee drops in Hammer Pegs.
All right, now here's the blacksmith proper. To answer, Aga is logically required, but Sailor Nep opted to do a fake flipper and ended up getting the a power glove. So you could skip the Aga Tower outright if you decide to do a fake flipper.
Alright, Prism Lizard getting a swag net from the Magic Bat. Good to know the Magic Bat was a bug catcher back in his day.
Oh, very nice kill for Sailor Nep on the Lamb Molus.
Yeah, Fire Rod plus half magic does make that fight a heck of a lot easier.
This is interesting. Prism Lizard is opting to leave the purple chest behind.
I'm very intrigued by that play. Especially considering you're potentially only 1 item from, well, in Prism Lizard's case, 2 items away from Go Mode. Looks like their next port of call, however, is going to be Ice Palace.
It's not a bad idea, in all fairness.
And oh, take a look at this. Sailor Nep is right behind them.
Now, for Sailor Nep, she has the advantage over the fact that she has the Fire Rod and has more dungeon clears. If the flute ends up to be here in Ice, that is going to be big for Sailor Nep.
It will. It's and again, the major control we can see at this point is gonna be Quake. All right, so Koi did pick up that sword from the king of all scams. Cannot imagine he's too happy about that. To answer question chat, we have not seen a check of, I don't believe at least we have seen a check of Graveyard Ledge or King's Tomb for that matter, both of which we can check now. Ooh, Prism Lizard got a very lucky catch there on that lower Stalfos Knight.
Sonap going for the bomb jump, gets it.
Yeah, Koi is now heading straight back to Death Mountain to go to the Ether Tablet and retrieve that mirror. And I imagine a Bombos Tablet check might be next up on his docket. If not Swamp Palace. Not much so far going on in Ice Palace. I think we've seen one item.
And there's the other one, I think.
Okay. I guess there was an item in the first chest. In which case, our runners could go straight for the boss. And chat is saying
at this
first...
point, you already have both items, and you can just go in straight over to close there right away.
Well, chat is saying we've
did see
only...
one item, okay.
Yeah, and there's the big key, so we can at least check the big chest now.
Here it is.
Wow, Ice Palace was the play. This so kind of just brings the whole linearity of the seed to a head here. It all led you to Ice Palace, bit by bit.
Okay, so for Sailor Nap, the only thing that will stop her from being in go mode is if Quake is on top of is required for Misery Mire. If it's Ether, then Sailor Nap can just easily go and grab it from a Highly Island. If it's Bombos, though, then we're good.
Yeah, and if it ends up being Quake, the thing I would think to do is maybe go straight to Dark Death Mountain and check Turtle Rock to see if that medallion is Quake 2, so at the very least you know it can't be in Turtle Rock.
Very nice fights for Sailor Nep. Already up to 6 crystals.
But yeah, we got a bit of a moment of truth coming up here for our runners.
All right, so Sailor Nep is going to save and quit out. You know, of course, activate that flute. That's the most important thing for Sailor Nep right now is getting that flute activated. And if Misery Mire is Bombos, then we don't have to worry about having to go another check. If it's Quake though, then the game continues.
And get your 07s in chat for the Hylian National Anthem.
And with that, the goose is untitled.
Still? It's been like a year. Or at least a few months.
Feels like a year though. All right, so we're now fluting over to 6. Will we have more rando, or is Sailor Nap and Goma?
And Sailor Nep's answer is we are in go mode at 1:15. 00.
1:15 on the dot. This kicked everything in the Sailor Nep had to pretty much play the seed pretty well. And the most big advantage here is that Sailor Nep was able to skip Aggo Tower completely just from a sequence break. A very major sequence break.
Indeed, and the only major downside to Sailor Nep's current routing is that this may end up being a Master Sword Silverless Ganon fight, which, with 2 bottles and half magic, is definitely doable. But Master Sword Silverless in any iteration is not exactly a fun time.
Definitely not.
Now, Prism Lizard, after activating the flute, is electing to go check the pedestal first, I guess, to get the good news, I should say, that it is not an Oops All Dungeon seed. And hopefully Prism Lizard will route this into Skull Woods, pick up their Fire Rod, and that will put them in, as soon as they check my Medallion go mode. Koi, meanwhile, defeating Argus after clearing out Swamp Palace. And Ken just finishing off Moldorm up in Tower of Hera. Single arrow of destiny in the Mire Shed, and Prism Lizard decides to deliver 1 minor Rage Slash for that. And is electing to check Checkerboard Cave before heading to before possibly heading into Mire. And Checkerboard Cave is trash. And it looks like Sailor Nep is going straight to Vitreous. Not exactly a God Mire, but also not a need-to-do cutscene chest Mire either. It will be interesting to see if we do have anything that might make Ganon easier in GT. Ooh, spooky action glitch there from Sailor Nep. Very nicely performed. I'm still not sure how that works. Alright, we've got Sailor Nep on the Vitreous fight, electing to use spin strats while most likely sipping down that red potion. Yeah, even on Blue Mail, these eyeballs, I think, still do 3 hearts of damage on contact. So taking the damage over time from the green goo, a much better alternative as it's only 1 heart per second. And down goes Vitreous. And that will be Sailor Nep's 7th crystal. So ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the big key guessing game. There are 22 locations in the basement of Ganon's Tower, 21 chests, and 1 torch. Get your guesses in chat between 1 and 22, where you think that big key is hiding tonight. Personally, I'm going to guess middle of the road, and I'm going to say 11.
Oh, we're actually doing it now?
Yeah, that's Nep's last crystal.
All right, inside Guinness Tower, there are 22 locations where actually be from 1 to 22. Get your guesses in chat where you think that big key might be. Let's go. Heck it. Power room 22.
Iowa room?
Yeah, let's
Fair
do
enough.
it.
Yeah, I think the one thing Nep would really like to see right now, as she traverses through GT, would definitely be those silver arrows. Because again, Master Sword Silverless doable, but never a good time.
Oh no, it's long. It is very long. And Master Sword Silver's Ganon still kind of slow, but it's not as unbearable.
Reduces the spin count from 52 to 28. Definitely cuts down, for lack of a better term, the difficulty.
And Quake was in fact required for Turtle Rock, but we don't need that anyway.
Yeah, and I can see why Nep is electing to go into Hookshot Cave real quick. Again, quick check to see if maybe she can find either another sword or those silver arrows. Because another sword would make Silverless Ganon just about as simpler as, well, a fourth bottle also helps as well, but would make, oh, come on, game.
Silverless Ganon is not the worst.
And Tempered Sword Silverless does, at the very least, cut down the number of spins by half. Not exactly half, but it's 20. It's, I think, 28. Well, it's not even spins. You can use slashes in phases 1 and 2.
And with that, 21 chests and a torch separates Sailor Nep from finding the big key and going up the tower. Let's do this.
It likes to check the left side first here. Just a pack of bombs on the torch. Should be noted, Prism Lizard, while traversing through Mire, did pick up the mirror shield from the big chest. Koi, meanwhile, going to Desert Palace, going to fight Lan Molas. Chest number 2 rather, small key. Chest number 3, red rupees. Chest 4, small key. Chest 5, another set of blueberries. Sailor Nep electing to go the Dark Magician way. Fascinating.
Yeah, Sailor Nep pulled out the mirror, so it led me to believe that Sailor Nep was going to go directly to Dark Magician afterwards.
Yeah, interesting play. Chest 6 and 7, both big 20s. Alright, Koi fighting Lan Molas. I just noticed from Koi's pause menu, still does not have Titan's mitts yet. Even though they are right around the corner in Koi's case. Alright, chests 8 through 11, 50 rupees. Hard piece. Hard piece again. And the big key on chest number 11. Woo! But, no, in all seriousness, the winner of that, the game goes to... I'm gonna call it a bit of a tie because they entered at about the same time. The tie goes to Razmith and RG Commander, who both guessed 11. So congratulations.
You win my utmost respect. Take it to the Conductor's All Express.
Alright, so Koi has finished off Lan Molas, but is now saving and quitting once again. Ken, meanwhile, on his Argus fight. And it looks like Prism Lizard is going to turn in the mushroom first. But I gotta hand it to Sailor Nep's routing. Sailor Nep, for lack of a better term, pretty much god routed the seed.
Yeah, this was excellent routing for Sailor Nap as she's now climbing the.
Alright, looks like Koi's going to... I believe this is a trip to Dark World? Yeah, it's a trip to Dark World. Didn't quite get the one cycle on Landmolus 2, but still fairly solid nonetheless.
Excellent. All right, now for my favorite rooms, Wizrubs 1 and 2.
Yeah, with Kane, you can literally just cross-chop them off the map.
And it's guaranteed to be super effective.
Koi is going to be our first runner to check out Graveyard Ledge and King's Tomb here. Two checks we have not seen. Unfortunately, they will not be the progression Koi is looking for. But they may be silvers or our other sword upgrade. Nope, just another heart piece.
It feels really bad for Koi.
Yeah, just really unfortunate that he didn't route in Zora before going to Death Mountain.
Right, Sailor Nap onto Moldarm 2.
And would you look at that, there is another sword upgrade in King's Tomb.
There's about 4 of our stars, I'm sorry. Alright, Moldarm 2 is down.
And just a purple rupee in the, oh wait, too early in the timeline. 50 rupees in Moldorm 2's chest.
I mean, at least it's close.
Same value.
There's no silver hours, unfortunately, but silver is fine enough.
Yeah, tempered silverless with multiple bottles, each loaded with actual potions instead of bees, I should add. Alright, down goes Agatu with a double, single. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to face the big pig.
A big pork.
It will be after that tempered sword is done dealing with him.
It'll be just in time for dinner. So Sailor Nap drops down to.
And it looks like Ganon just doesn't feel like thinking outside the box, which makes sense because we are fighting in a box.
He's in an imaginary box.
Not really.
Oh. I can't think of imagination.
Well, I mean, for long as I can remember, I've had memories. I'll see myself out, thank you very much. But in all seriousness, Sailor Nap having no trouble slashing away again, and these silver arrows are in Turtle Rock. Now that's a nasty place for those.
Yeah, and it makes the question: where would the quake even be?
Trying to think. Maybe Super Bunny Cave? I don't think that was checked.
Money's likely.
And Chat brings up a good point. Purple Chest wasn't checked either.
Oh yeah, that would. Yeah, purple chest wasn't checked either. Could have been that either. So, but even then, it's still really nasty because you were never going to be going to Turtle Rock anytime soon.
Not this seed. Alright, Sailor Nep has gotten well over half the necessary slashes in this case. I believe this is Nep's 8th or 9th spin. And that is spin number 12. There is only a 1x3 bridge separating Sailor Nep from victory, but get your GGs in chat for Sailor Nep.
I'll get the official time right away once that bridge has been crossed. And, well, Sailor Nep finishes in first place on the restream with an official SRL time of 1:31:14. And not only does Sailor Nep win on the restream, but he has taken the victory royale in the overall race. First place overall. Congratulations to Sailor Nep.
Absolutely, Sailor Nep. Yeah, as we said earlier, pretty much God routed this seed. Skipped Aga Tower, and that paid off big time. So Prism Blizzard just checked Super Bunny, no sign of the silvers, and we are now joined in the commentator's booth by Sailor Nep. Sailor Nep, GG.
GG, thanks very much. That
Gee.
seed felt really good. It just seemed like I made just every right choice except for doing Hera.
Yeah, we really have we can pretty much fully agree with you on that one. You electing to fake Flipper to the hobo ended up saving you a ton of time. Nobody else ended up performing that skip.
Yeah, when I found that glove, I thought, oh, this was a huge play. The reason I did it was because I found the Moon Pearl where it was. I thought, there's some people who might decide to head over there earlier, and if something that lets me skip Agas on the fake Flipper here, then they're going to have the Moon Pearl when they do South Shore. They did it first, so I want to keep pace. So I took a risk and did some extra walking, and I felt so glad I did.
Yeah, and something else that kind of really saved your bacon, quite literally, was getting Tempered Sword in Hookshot Cave right before GT.
Yeah, I was kind of waffling on, am I gonna stop here and check this, or am I just gonna commit to doing MS Silverless? And when I saw the sword, I was like, well, apparently luck's with me tonight. I was very happy about that.
Yeah, good thing too, because I doubted you were going to go to Turtle Rock for those silvers anytime this seed.
No, I can do MS Silverless. I just prefer not to.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Master Sword Silverless is long and really, really long.
Yeah, 24 Silverless spins, even if you do them in 8 perfect cycles, it just takes forever and it just does not feel good.
Oh, no, it never feels good when you have to do Master Sword Silverless. You have to have not only you have half magic to make this at least even feasible, at least reasonable by Master Sword Silverless standards, but you also have potions just to make sure you don't lose a whole lot of your magic. And yeah, it's a really annoying fight.
Yeah, definitely. I wouldn't have been too worried with the half magic, but still, just I'm not going to complain if I find the sword. So I figured, also with the Bombos being in the back of Thieves Town, I felt that I had time to check it, so I had no qualms about it. The only thing I kind of regretted, which it wouldn't have mattered, but I just wasn't thinking on the way up the mountain. I thought I should have not done the TR portal and done Super Bunny. It's just, I guess my curiosity as to what the TR medallion was kind of overrode that feeling. Because I hadn't actually seen it up to that point.
Yeah, let's just talk about like the route in general, because yeah, what the seed was expecting from you was to do Aga 1, go back to Village of Outcasts to get Bow, then do Pod for the flippers, because it was in the bow lock section.
Yeah, so after skipping Aga 1, pretty big point of interest for me was I know that many of the runners in this race are going to do Aga 1, and they're either going to choose to risk going to Pod right away, or they're going to go to Village of Outcasts. And I thought, since I had the sequence break, I'm going to press that advantage and go for option 3, which is to go up the mountain, knowing that it's out of logic until I find either the flippers or the flute. I figured if I do find the flippers up here, then I'll know flute is somewhere down there, and if not, then that'll inform the rest of my routing. And I also figured this is going to be a pretty high density series of checks I'll do anyway, so if I do find something, that might make my routing work a little better. And that did pay off when I got the mirror, which that didn't immediately lead to anything, but I didn't have to worry about it once I did have it, and I didn't have to do any death warps in Palace of Darkness.
All right, so my next question for you is, with the Ambrosia settings, how did you take that into account with your overall routing this time around?
I mean, a lot of that just is I had to pay a little extra attention to how I'm counting the items inside of dungeons. Thieves Town felt a little scary because I knew there was no chance that I would likely get away with not fighting blind there. But at the same time, I was running low enough on checks at that point, having already done the mountain and knowing that I was going to be coming up on whatever leads me to Flipper soon, that I figured I'm just going to get this while I'm here so I don't have to make another trip.
I'm going to stop you for just a split second, because Prism Lizard did just find the Quake medallion on Pyramid Fairy. So now, next $1 million question, is Prism going to go all the way? I think Prism Lizard is going to go to Skull Woods and get the Fire Rod and be saved from an unnecessary total rock dive here. But for a split second, that concept was a little horrifying.
Imagine if the silvers were just on the first chest.
Oh wait, Prism is not going to Skull Woods. Probably going to just quickly peek at Bumper Ledge first. Nope, not even that. Oh, Graveyard of Ledge King's Tomb. Prism Lizard didn't make that check yet. Which is going to give Prism Lizard their Butter Sword.
Any final thoughts on this seed as a whole, Sailor Nap?
I kind of like this one because even if you did Aga 1 and stay completely in logic, I do feel like there were a number of interesting calls once you get the mids off the Bombo tablet, because there's Overworld, you can just choose to do crystals. And I guess if you were to not go into backup Pendant Thieves Town, knowing that you're likely committing to a blind fight, that's definitely a potential issue. Because if you were to find the Quake medallion and Pyramid very first, you could get baited into a full clear of Turtle Rock for nothing. In fact, I was really tempted to climb up and check that myself, but somehow I resisted, which I didn't have the Quake medallion anyway, but if it had been Bombos, I'd have been very tempted to go in, and that's part of why I chose to just at least do Ice Palace first. I guess final overall thought would be Fire Rod in the vanilla dungeon. That's always kind of fun to see.
Yeah, that was kind of funny, and what really just got me real interested is that the seed was screaming Aga 1 super early. We had Cape Sword Lamp in 7 minutes. And we thought, oh, we've got the whole Eastern Palace area. No reason to raise an alarm yet. Nope, you had to do Aga by logic.
Yeah, I think I was actually very strongly considering when I was in Sahasrara after I opened those items. I thought maybe I'm just going to save and quit here and go straight to Aga, and I decided not to. And then when Eastern didn't pay off, I figured, well, I'm already behind anyone who may have just done that, so I'm going to take this little extra time and see if I can't get something going. So that was a big deal for me, I think.
Actually, I'm just trying to think. The 2 ladder swords we got were... one was locked by Mitts, because it was in... and Hookshot, because it was on Dark Death Mountain. The other was in King's Tomb, which was locked by either Mirror or Mitts. And Mirror was on a tablet, which was up on Death Mountain. I think that Master Sword from Zora was hard required.
You'd be... I think, yeah, you're right there, because...
Yikes.
Yeah, there's no way you could have skipped that.
Yeah, Koi has just entered Go mode after picking up that flute, but was unfortunately a little late on the bandwagon for picking up the Master Sword. Ooh, and just took a death to cold stare.
Yeah. I think
Oh.
has enough.
Yeah, he has had enough. He has elected to forfeit the race.
So,
And actually, looking at the entrance list, we have had a couple of off-camera forfeits tonight.
And
But,
also looks like Ken's also wanted to forfeit.
that
Yeah,
is
a bit
unfortunate. With that mirror and everything being where it was, and needing the Master Sword on Zora, that I can see that, especially if you didn't sequence break at any point, just being a major sticking point. So that's unfortunate.
Hi, Koi.
Oh, hi.
So, Koi, what are what do you have to say for that one?
I think it was objectively wrong to sequence break Aga in this seed because it was so obviously an Aga seed.
Yep, it was.
So we're joined by Ken. GG.
Wow, that was something.
Yeah, it was something.
Was I the first one to get a bow?
I want to say it was actually Prism Lizard who got the bow first. And Chad is actually confirming that for me, so yeah, it was Prism Lizard who got the bow first.
It's so far away from the game. It's already been so long that I don't remember who got the bow first. But
I didn't want to do pod without the link.
I wouldn't blame you.
Yeah, and Lamp was in, where was Lamp? That's one I don't remember.
No,
Many more
two
or
thirds down. Somewhere on the Thieves Town area. And so was the bow.
No, I like going through the light world. It was so obviously an Aga seed. Like the game was just pointing at Aga so hard, and when I see that, I think, you know what, I can get an advantage over somebody by not double dipping Eastern Palace, which I'm sure most people who did the fake flipper also did, by just doing Aga, because they're just gonna double dip Eastern Palace, do the fake flipper, and then do Aga anyway, right? And the only way I get punished for doing Aga early in that situation is if it's not Aga required, or if Aga leads to the flippers that lead to the progression. And that's exactly what happened in this seed, because it's a mean seed.
I don't know if it's just me, but it seems like whenever it's an Aga seed, 9 times out of 10 there's progression in pod.
Yeah, and
Yeah, it's really
one thing, dude, you could have also fake flippered to, in the exactly what Sonap did. You could have sequence broke you could have sequence by fake flippering over and getting the gloves that way.
Yeah, that's what I said.
I didn't like the mirror on Ether Tablet. That was not fun.
Yeah, everything just kind of lined up to punish me for doing Aga. Not even just the time it took to do Aga, but by the time I roll around the seed and find out where the flippers are, and then find out, oh my god, people sequence broke it, I find them on Hobo and not in the Zora area, which means I miss out on my Master Sword, which means now I have to climb them out the second time to get to Ether Tablet. Like it was just it was such a huge punish for doing Aga in the seed. If you just didn't do Aga, the seed lines up so much nicer and you skip so much more stuff.
And the ironic thing too is that Ether was also locked behind a mirror check that was like Hylia Island, and I'm just like, oh dear. As soon as Ken said it, as soon as Ken said it, oh boy, I realized what happened.
Yeah. The only other kind of final, what would have been a hiccup for the seed, is that the silver arrows are in Total Rock, as Ganon revealed to us later down the road.
Because of course it is.
Well, that wouldn't have helped me. I don't know how to do serverless scanning.
Yeah, and Quake was on Pyramid Fairy. All right, Prism Lizard now going through GT. Now, the key was in the compass room last I checked. Unfortunately, Hope Room did not have a small key, so Prism Lizard's going to have to go to the left and get one.
Was I the first one to get the sword from Hobo?
You about to talk about the Master Sword?
Yeah, from Zora.
I'm not sure, actually. I don't remember.
I don't know either.
I don't think so, though.
I'll be Lizard again. I'm kidding.
A lot easier doing Master Sword Aga Tower.
Yeah. Oh, miles better. The thing is, though, since you had the hammer, the fact that you had a hammer actually mitigated the entirety of how really long and annoying just Fighter Sword Aga Tower is.
Actually, that's one thing I want to bring up, Ken, is that you were fake flippering beforehand, but you elected to skip Zora or Hobo and go to Zora. Can you talk to us a little about that?
Yeah, I don't know how to fake flipper from Hobo.
Ah.
Last time I did, I crashed my game, so.
Huh.
I landed in the middle of the land, in the middle of water. I soft locked myself.
Wait, that might have been. Could have been EG. Actually, that could have been the case where you could have gotten an EG situation. Because I remember seeing that one time.
I'm not familiar with that term, EG. What does that refer to?
It's short for exploration. It's short for exploration glitch.
Okay.
And obviously, since exploration glitch is well, to put it slightly, it's a major glitch. We always don't allow that.
Of course.
Like,
if I had boots, I would have done it.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
And what are your thoughts on the Ambrosia setting and the boots being in Swamp Palace this time around?
Well, at least I got the hint that it was in there, but where the heck was the fire?
French vanilla.
French vanilla, yeah. It was in Skull Woods.
I didn't want to do Skull Woods without that.
Oh, again, I don't want to blame because it's in a really out of the way. It's really inconvenient to go over to Skull Woods. Like I know how it is. 'Cause people would normally want to go and go to Skull Woods, just with a fire rod in hand, right? So finding it in French vanilla is just like a big, yikes.
All right, where was the flute?
The flute was in Ice Palace.
And
Let
it's
to
not-
our go mode.
I could have done Ice Palace, but with bombos, it's just a pain. The Master Sword, bombos wasn't very fun, so I didn't want to do that.
Yeah, one thing the seed was fairly generous with was health and defense. We know we've seen all of our bottles, and I mean, heck, you ripped off the uncle's shirt at the start of the match, so you had defense was not too crazy, and Prism Lizard also found Mirror Shield in Meyer's big chest, so actually, come to think of it, were there 2 shields on on bosses this time around? Because I know Fire Shield was on somebody.
Oh, this is going to oh, it's escaping me right now. I could be wrong, but no, it's been a wild ride, you know. So,
It has.
I wish I got the mirror before because I could have done Eastern and Pod at the same time, but then the mirror was in Ether tag.
yeah, all cool. And I totally understand.
All right, Prism Lizard picking up their GT Big Key, and it's now time for the Gauntlet for Prism Lizard. Prism Lizard in a bit of a more stable scenario here for the Ganon battle. Butter Sword Silverless this time, although that really doesn't do that much in the way of offense. Much more health, though. There were like 2 heart containers in GT.
Yeah, the only thing that really Gold Sword Ganon is just pretty much almost identical to just the normal just Tempered Sword Ganon, except that doing the 1 cycle for phases 1 and 2 is it's completely easy. It's free. You don't have to like work. You don't have to do all these crazy tricks to do just do one phases 1 and 2.
Well, Ken, is there anything else about this this seed you'd like to talk to us about? Anything else that got your attention?
No, it wasn't that bad. I wish I had some kind of moving around a little bit faster than no mirror, no flute, no boot.
I totally get it. It was in out of the way locations that ended up resulting in just I mean, also in the case of the flute, it would have been too little too late because you already would have the flute for your go mode, and by the time you would have went to Swamp Palace from after getting the mirror, I mean it nice. So it is nice that it actually would have been required because Desert Palace was boots locked.
Yeah, it was definitely one of the more linear seeds we've seen in quite some time, all things considering.
Yeah, that is definitely the case.
Yeah, the full chain was Aga 1 to Village of Outcasts for Bo to get Flippers and Pod, Glove on Hobo, Master Sword from Zora, East Death Mountain for Book, Ether Tablet for Mirror, and then Bombos Tablet for Titan's Mitts. There wasn't really anything important in Swamp Palace, so that could have been go-moded. And then after Titan's Mitts, Flute and Ice. And French Vanilla Fire Rod.
I almost went to Hobo instead of going to
Going where now? Sorry, you cut out at the end there.
I said I almost went to Hobo instead of going to Zoa.
Yeah, you could have done that and ultimately skipped out on Aga 1.
Alright, well, Prism Lizard, as we mentioned earlier, going to be in a very healthy situation for this Butter Sword Silverless Ganon fight. 4 bottles, 17 hearts, blue mail. Pretty safe. And Mirror Shield, although that really doesn't help.
No, it's just for decor.
Yeah, which you think that, considering you have to carry this shield around you for 2.5, for a dungeon and a half, you would think it would have more utility.
But it's only used for one specific place in Turtle Rock, and that's it.
I'm gonna go for that, but that was fun. Thank you.
GG's.
Thank you for running.
You're
Oof.
welcome.
Alright, Prism on the Aga 2 fight, having a little bit of trouble. Aghanim not being very cooperative, not to mention seemingly large number of blue balls here. Ooh, that would have been a fantastic triple. A double is still pretty good under those conditions, though.
Yeah, very nice. Nicely placed for Prism Lizard. All we gotta do now is fight that big pig.
Yeah, maybe Prism Lizard will think outside the box this time. We know Nep did.
Probably not, though.
Now, my favorite is when I get to recite CDI Ganon.
Or that, or the Aperture Science one.
You know what? I don't remember that one.
I think it's something because like the Enrichment Center would like to
Yeah, that's the one.
something you cannot speak. It's not the Q because that's Portal.
And to answer question in chat, yes, Prism Lizard is playing as an Ori sprite. To answer question chat, the Butter Sword was in Hookshot Cave. There was Hookshot Cave and King's Tomb were the last 2 swords.
Yeah, that 1-1 sequence is a lot more easier with that gold sword in hand.
Yeah, Prism Lizard electing to play it safe here and drink one of their red potions. Now, in the time we've been talking here, we have had a significant number of other finishers. We've got Hitsuyan 1337 with an SRL time of 1:40.01 for second place. GFE12 right behind Hitsuyan with a 1:40.07 for third. 6 minutes later, I hope I'm not butchering this. Muitas V got a 1:46.07. Plasma Kappa in 5th with a 1:46.20. Shiva Hayes 87 with a 1:49.02. And Durand with a time of 1:53.46. And that's where we stand now.
Plasma Kappa.
Come again?
I said help to you, Plasma Kappa.
Did I miss him?
Maybe.
Well, looks like Prism Lizard has delivered the final spin to Ganon, and get your GGs in chat for Prism Lizard. 1x3 bridge is all that separates them from the finish line.
I'll be the one who gained the official times again. crossing the bridge, finishing second on the restream with an official SRL time of 1:59.50, and it's good for 8th place overall, and personal best by 8 minutes and 26 seconds.
Very nice. Also, as the Triforce elaborated, I'm just imagining that in the GLaDOS voice. Such a quotable game.
It is.
Both of them, really.
Yeah, both of them are quotable. And we are joined by a Prism Lizard. GG.
Hey, thank you.
Congratulations on your PB.
Thanks. I was hoping for a sub 2, and I just pulled it out.
Very nicely done.
And this one, this seed definitely had you going on a bit of a ring around the rosy, one thing leading to another.
Yeah, I felt like everything was just about everywhere except in Pendant Dungeons.
Yeah, the only real exception being the Bombos in Thieves Town.
Yeah, thankfully that was so early that there really wasn't anywhere else to go. That French Vanilla Fire Rod, though, that was just rude.
Yes, it was. We will not argue with you on that one. What were your thoughts on the seed pretty much screaming AGA 1 by the 7-minute mark?
As soon as I had access to it, I just figured, let's get this over with rather than try and fight it and probably waste a lot of time on checks that may just delay the inevitable.
Yeah, this actually did work out initially until we found out that you could have just sequence broke it just through fake flippers.
Yeah, I have a feeling if I actually did that, though, I probably would have just gone down the rabbit hole that way and never gone back to Thieves Town until way too much later, so it probably worked out well enough.
Yeah, totally reasonable.
So, you got the Quake Medallion in Pyramid Fairy, and the silvers were in Turtle Rock. What's your thoughts on that one?
I wasn't thrilled to get that information from Ganon, but I've had to do enough Silverless lately that it wasn't too awful at that point. If it went sufficiently wrong, I probably would have tried to just get the red mail off of Lumberjack Ledge before I desperation dove Turtle Rock just for silvers. But the seed seemed to love hiding at least one item you'd really like somewhere you really just don't want to go for it.
Yeah, flute all the way down in Ice Palace, and that after the massive chain starting from Dark World, from AGA 1 that was required to get there. Because as we mentioned earlier, it was AGA 1, Flippers and Pod, Glove on Hobo, and Master Sword. The Master Sword on Zora was hard required when you for picking up the book to get the tablets, since one was in King's Tomb, which was either Mirror or Mitz locked. The other was in Hookshot Cave, which was also Mitz and Hookshot locked.
You're right, I forgot just how awful that chain was. I think this is the first seed I've seen where both tablets actually had progression too.
Yeah, that is definitely a rare occurrence in my experience as well. So I'm glad we all got to see that this time around.
Yeah, this one had a little bit of everything.
And what were your thoughts on the like the Ambrosia rule set? So getting that early boots hit, how did that early boots hit influence your routing?
As soon as I had access to Swamp, I figured it was worth going and taking care of that and getting that item as soon as practical, just because the boots are always, nice to have, even if, at least in this case, they didn't actually end up being required for anything. It also helps knowing that since there's an item on the boss, you don't have to go and full clear every chest out of a dungeon. That's, in fact, part of why I put off Skull Woods as long as I did, knowing if I couldn't get to Mothula, there's only one item in here.
But other than that though, if you got any final thoughts, sound off.
No, just this is always a blast, and I'm flattered to get to be restreamed. Hope everybody had fun watching.
Yeah, GG's to you.
All right, thank you. Have a good night, everybody.
All right, and yeah, that should do it for us. So if you want to follow these winners, be sure to give them a really nice heart. Link to the Past, Ken, Koi, Prism Lizard, and Steeler Nep, and our tracker, and of course our tracker. They did a really nice job, and of course, and I'd like to thank my amazing co-commentator, Captain MD13, for at least being around for this nice night.
Thank you, Professor Render. A pleasure working with you as well. And with that, if you are looking for more speed gaming action, we're pretty much wrapped up for tonight with the exception of the Final Fantasy Randomizer Weekly on Channel 2 at the moment. But our next A Link to the Past daily race will be tomorrow afternoon at 2 p.m. It'll be an open mode race, as well as a continuation of the A Link to the Past Randomizer 2019 tournament, the race between Azazas and Salty Fry. I hope I did not butcher that name. Both of those names, for that matter, will be at 2:20 p.m., along with more Link to the Past rando at just before 7 o'clock that night. So plenty of Link to the Past rando under the on the down the road for you in the next 24 hours, folks. But with that said, I am Captain MD13 on behalf of my partner, Professor Render, our trackers, Casaclysm and Duder K, our tech crew, Wolfman 2000, and all the folks here at Speed Gaming. We wish you a good night, and we will see you next time.
Take it easy, everybody.